Welcome to Hoyt's Bowhunting Whitetails. I'm standing in my backyard, just outside of my office, and right behind me is a spot where I think about a week ago, 10 days ago, I saw a really nice buck cross. He popped out of the timber, probably 50 yards from the office window, walked along that timber edge following a doe, and then disappeared into the far back corner. I was able to film it with my phone camera. It wasn't real high quality, but you can see he's a pretty solid buck. And in our efforts to shoot something up at the farm, we haven't been hunting around here. In fact, this is only 14 acres, so we don't have a lot of options here. But since we're back for the holiday, we're going to spend a couple of extra days, and we're actually going to hunt here. We hunted yesterday evening out of a little small brush pile down below the house, and that didn't work out very well. It was kind of a sketchy setup. But our son was watching out the back window of the house, and he saw several deer out in the field. And they usually come out back in here behind me. Jordan could end up killing her first buck with a bow here on a 14-acre tract in our backyard. First, we're gonna go back over the early part of the week, Tuesday and Wednesday, up on the farm, breeze through that real quick, show you what happened, and then we'll roll into the second part of this episode where we're really gonna focus on what's going on here and then how to hunt these small tracts.
Very, very stark difference in temperature. I think it's about 45 and sunny today compared to the 15 with 20-mile-per-hour winds that we had last week. So kind of feels like summer. But my cousin Nicholas is here joining us from Virginia for Thanksgiving break. So he's going to get a little bit of the hunting experience with us today. Hopefully we can bring you guys some action.
Looking at his phone. I don't know what else to tell you. I've been to this spot so many times.
It's kind of like Groundhog Day.
Yeah, just happens over and over and over. But one of these days, there's going to be a nice buck standing right in front of this blind, 10, 15 yards away.
It's like if you just stay on red or black long enough, surely eventually it'll hit, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're just going to stay on black until it does.
And then the corn leaves are going to get red.
Right. Yeah.
Vowed that we were going to hunt that blind until Jordan killed a buck out of it, but I've changed my mind after last night. That was a long sit in what should have been good conditions, and really nothing came in there. We had some deer kind of skirt around us, but time to give that one a break. We're going to take advantage of these nice conditions to get up on one of the ridges. There's one not too far from the building here that we're going to get up on, and hopefully we can catch the deer just as they're leaving their bedding areas out on the ends. Usually the point on the end of the ridge is where the deer bed the most heavily. So we're gonna take these little electric buggies and we're gonna zip up there, drop our stuff off, go stash those, hang a stand, and then hunt it for the afternoon.
a little buck and a doe came out maybe 15, 20 minutes after we got up here, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
They came out down by the pond and they skirted around the side and they were kind of looking up here like they might have smelled us. The doe was looking at us. We thought the buck might come within range, but he ended up staying too far away and then went back down the other side of the bluff. So, I mean, it's promising. It's fun to see deer.
We're going to take a couple days off, and Jordan's running tomorrow. Tomorrow is Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, happy Thanksgiving. I mean, you're going to probably see this too late, but Jordan's running in Cedar Rapids in one of those turkey trot 5K races. And we might try to get out in our backyard. It's kind of a little bit of a urban type environment, not real urban. I mean, we've got 14 acres. Some of the neighbors around us have, over 100 acres. So it's not really urban, but there are some really nice deer. The second biggest deer I've seen all season was in our backyard.
I've seen him a few times.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen him, I think, twice. I've seen him once or twice.
Yeah, I filmed him with my camera the other day, right by my phone, put it that way. So we will be back up here again, though, in a couple of days. We might be able to bring you a hunt from the urban Iowa City area. Just a quick one. Hoyt's Bowhunting Whitetails is brought to you by Redneck Blinds, Day 6 Arrows, Code of Silence Apparel, Fuse Accessories, and Hoyt.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Hello.
Jordan! Good job, Jordan! Finish strong, finish strong! Good job!
That was a pretty good way to kick off Thanksgiving. My best ever 5K is 17:48, and I think I was right around 17:54 or 5, so pretty happy with it. Really nice morning. I think we're gonna relax a little bit and then see if we can get out and find another deer tonight in the backyard.
We're standing just outside my office, and right around the corner here, there's our cat. That's where I saw that buck come out following a doe about a week ago. He's a really nice buck, probably, I don't know, he might have been a borderline shooter even up on the farm. For sure the biggest deer I've seen here. And you'd seen him before that, right?
Yeah, I've seen him a couple times over there because I saw him out of the window from the house. So it seems like he's kind of been all over this field.
Yeah, the deer usually come out down by this little brush pile down in this field below our house. The problem with this, we only have 14 acres here, and we could make this killer good. If I wanted to just plant the whole open field into corn and just leave it, boy, there'd be deer all over this. But that defeats the purpose of having the land up by my parents. The whole goal was to spend more time around family. So this is the first hunt here, and we've lived here for 2.5 years.
Yeah.
But there's not much cover. Well, I shouldn't say that. There's cover all around us, but we don't own much. It's all small stuff, and if we just go down in there and make noise and hang a tree stand and do whatever, I mean, the deer are going to know we're there. So we're just going to sneak down into that little brush pile and try to find some place there to set up and just hope for some luck. I mean, we know this deer is somewhere in the neighborhood, whether he's here or not, probably isn't, but
You don't know unless you go.
That's right, you don't know unless you go.
brush is kind of right this way.
We've got 20 minutes left, and I can smell the grill fired up. I think Drew's got some bratwurst or something cooking up there. It's making me hungry. So we'll be back to the house here in about 20 minutes.
What a long and tiring hike we have back home.
When you're hunting around these urban type environments where there's a lot of interaction between the deer and the people, if you can take advantage of those days or those times when the people are most active, you can get a lot done. You can get tree stands up, you can get scouting done, you can do things that the deer would not tolerate in a setting where they don't encounter people. But here, they can't get away from people, so they just have come to live around us. So here I made my little 150-yard drive from the back of my office right to the back end of the field here. Okay. Yeah, you can see pretty good trail right here. And then all down through here, some pretty good trails coming up. So I think I'll try to be probably out here on the edge. It's down just a little bit. If you look back towards the house, it's down just a little bit, so the deer might feel maybe more comfortable coming out here than they might in spots where it's more visible. So I'm just going to go in no farther than I have to and set a tree stand to cover this travel area right here. I got that stand up. I think this is the hardest part when you're hunting these little small properties like this, or these small tracts, is getting your stands up. You got to run them out first. I guess that's the key. You got to run them out with something. So I drove the truck down here right to the edge, honked the horn, slammed the doors, made noise, let them know I was here, ran them out. I didn't try to sneak in here because there was no way I was going to do that. So everything you do is a little bit different on these small tracks. Everything is magnified. Every mistake you make is going to hurt you more when you're hunting these small tracks. It's Saturday afternoon, and we're going to hunt this evening right on the edge of our yard again. And really this whole property is almost on the edge of our yard with only 14 total acres. Most of it is that open field. But this hunt this afternoon is going to be kind of typical of how you have to hunt these small tracks. We don't have a ton of cover back here, so we can't just plunge right into the spots where the deer might be living every single time. You got to hunt those little corridors leading in and out. So the spot we're going this evening, we're not going to do any damage going in and hanging the stand because the deer aren't going to be there. This is a travel route. Maybe they come across the road and come through here during the last half hour of daylight. But this isn't the spot where the deer live. So these are perfect spots to set up for these small tract type hunting because the impact that you make is so low. It's you can hunt there every single day, and you're not bumping deer out. But the spot we're going to go to tomorrow evening is a little bit different. We're going a little bit more into the property, so to speak, and I would say our best spot is going to be tomorrow evening. So we're hunting this evening, but we're not hunting what I would call a high odds spot. If they do cross the road, it's going to be late, but that's, they can. It's not like they won't. The odds are better than zero, and that's just the reality of hunting small tracts. You're not going to hunt great stands every single time because there aren't that many great stands. And if you try to hunt your best stand, pretty soon it's not going to be any good. So that's the quick tutorial on what we've got planned, but you're going to chuckle when you see where we go to get to it. Skimming around the front yard, going past the old, used to be an old horse stable, and now it's kind of just run down fields. Pop through the ditch into a tree and hope the deer come off the neighbors and cross the road. We'd hunt the other side of the yard, but they've been over there all day with some kind of a little building that they're putting up or messing around over there. So I know the deer aren't going to cross there, but they sure might cross on this south end. And with the south wind, that's perfect. I'm picking this smaller tree because I know we can get in and out of it safely and quickly. Now I've got a system I'm going to play with, and I love screwing steps, but screwing steps can be a lot of work. So this is, show you what I've got right here. A little portable drill, a 3/8 inch. I think I've got a dozen of these 3/8 inch bolts and a 7/16 inch spade bit. So I'm going to screw I didn't have any screw-in steps with me, so we went to Menards and got this stuff, and it's actually cheaper, believe it or not, even with buying the drill. Don't get grade 2 bolts. You got to get grade 8. That was another mistake. So no matter how you slice this one, we're not using this system today. The strategy was fine. The execution was pretty questionable. Hunting these fringes, these travel routes in and out, that's the key to these small tracts, because you can't hunt right in it, right where the meat of the cover is at, except for maybe just a few times all season. You got to hunt these fringe spots. Cars going by. Hey, that's the life of the urban whitetail hunter. Right there. We've got a half an hour left, and we had looked like a doe and a fawn come across the neighbor's yard to the west of us, down into the little bottom below. They probably got within about 30 or 35 yards. That's all we've seen from the stand. It's a pretty evening. It's fun being out here. But I mean, there's a lot of sign. I would say, you know, if we would spend the whole season hunting this smart, you know, 2-3 days a week, whenever it made sense, I think you can kill a buck here. I mean, it's, you know, if you set it up with food, it'd be really good. And I might do that next year, just to give us some options. Yeah, we've touched on a lot of key points. And, you know, I've hunted big farms a lot, but it always comes down to hunting a small part of that big farm. So the way I hunt a big property is really not a whole lot different than the way you hunt a small tract, because usually I'm hunting one buck. If that buck has a range that's, you know, pretty small, I might only be hunting him in a 20 or 30 acre area. You know, so it's no different. You just have to be super careful. Everything you do, especially the entry and access or entry and exit, and just all of the fundamentals. You just have to be super careful about every little detail. So the way you hunt a small tract is really no different than the way you hunt an individual buck on a larger tract. It's all a challenge, but it's a lot of fun. And when it all works out, you can take a lot of satisfaction in it. But we're going to head back north and give the farm another week, and then the gun season's going to come in. Jordan's still got that tag burning a hole.
I was just gonna say burning a hole in my pocket.
And I've got another one too. So Ethan's going to join us, and I'm going to focus on hunting mornings, and Jordan's going to focus on hunting afternoons, and we'll see what we can bring in during the coming week. We appreciate you joining us here at Hoyt's Bowhunting Whitetails, and as always, remember,
Dream big.
always dream big.
Always dream big, sorry.
Not just once in a while.
Always.